Most people in America work harder every single year and still end up with less to show for it. That's not a coincidence. That's by design. Think about it. You spent somewhere between 12 and 16 years of your life inside a classroom, sitting in rows, memorizing formulas, preparing for tests that measured everything except the one thing that actually determines your financial future. Nobody taught you how money grows. Nobody taught you how the wealthy think. Nobody even told you there was a different way to think. And that silence, that gap, is costing millions of Americans everything. Here's what nobody wants to say out loud. The school system was never built to make you wealthy. It was built to make you employable. There's a massive difference between those two things. And until you understand that difference at a gut level, you're going to keep running a race that was never designed for you to win. What I'm going to share with you over the next few minutes, these are the 6 financial principles that were quietly left out of every classroom you ever sat in. Not because anyone was trying to hurt you, but because most of the people who taught you never learned them either. Some of what I'm about to say is going to feel uncomfortable. That discomfort is the point. Stay with it. The first principle is ownership. There's a man in Columbus, Ohio, works in logistics, makes about $62,000 a year. Decent job, stable, reliable. Every month, for 9 years, he wrote a rent check for $1,400. $1,400, month after month. And one afternoon, he did the math, quietly, in his kitchen, and realized he had paid his landlord over $150,000. He had nothing to show for it, not a single dollar of equity, not one asset, just a receipt and a decade of someone else's mortgage paid off. That moment changed him. Here's the brutal reality of how money actually moves in this country. It flows from people who use things to people who own things. The renter pays the owner. The borrower pays the lender. The employee generates profit for the employer. That's not a criticism of anyone. It's just the architecture of how the system works. And the school you attended, the one that graded you on your ability to memorize, to comply, to perform, taught you to rent your entire life. Rent an apartment, lease a car, take a salary in exchange for your hours. The wealthy think differently. They think about owning. Here's a simple comparison that makes this real. Someone who saves $100,000 and parks it in a savings account, earning around 3%, will have roughly $325,000 after 40 years. That same $100,000 used as a down payment on a rental property, one that appreciates and generates income, could conservatively turn into $2 million or more across the same period, same starting point, same 40 years, 10 times the result. The size of what you own at first doesn't matter much. What matters is the direction. Are you accumulating ownership? Or are you paying someone else who is? There's no middle ground here. The second principle is leverage. This one makes people nervous. The word debt alone is enough to send most people running. And look, bad debt is real. Debt for things that lose value, that's a trap. But leverage, used carefully, strategically, is something completely different. Archimedes figured this out 2,500 years ago. He said, "If you give me a long enough lever and somewhere to rest it, I can move the entire world." He was talking about physics. The same principle applies to money. Think about this. A family buys a $400,000 home with $80,000 down. If that home increases in value by 10%, they've made $40,000 on their $80,000 investment. That's a 50% return on their money. The bank, which put in the rest, made around 4%. Who won that transaction? But there are 2 other forms of leverage that your school definitely never mentioned. The first is labor leverage. The idea that your results don't have to be limited to what your 2 hands can produce. A small business owner with 3 employees isn't just 3 times more productive. With the right systems, she's 10 times more productive. She stopped trading only her own hours. The second, and this is the one that separates this generation from everyone before it, is what you might call zero-cost leverage. A piece of software someone writes once and sells 1,000,000 times. A video recorded once and watched by 10 million people. A course built once and taken for years. The work is done one time. The income continues regardless. 1 hour of work, one paycheck. That's the old model. Build something once that earns while you rest. That's the new model. Most people never make the switch. The third principle is time horizon, and this one is quiet. You won't feel it working, but it might be the most powerful of everything I'm telling you. Here's the problem. When you're living paycheck to paycheck, your brain literally cannot plan long term. It's not weakness, it's biology. When the threat is immediate, your focus collapses to the next 2 weeks, the next bill, the next month. The wealthy escaped that cycle, not because they're smarter or more disciplined, but because they got themselves out of the volatility of depending on a single paycheck. Once that pressure lifted, they could finally zoom out, think in decades. Let compounding do what compounding is designed to do. There's a famous study from Stanford. In the 1970s, researchers put 4-year-old children alone in a room with a single marshmallow on a table. The deal was simple. You can eat it right now, or wait 15 minutes, and we'll give you 2 when we come back. Most kids ate it within minutes. About a third waited. The researchers followed those kids for 40 years. The ones who waited, on average, earned higher incomes, reported greater life satisfaction, and built more financial stability over the course of their lives. 1 marshmallow. 4 years old, 40 years of impact. The wealthy are, in a very real sense, the adults who still choose the second marshmallow. The fourth principle is the inner compass. Most of the spending decisions made in American households aren't really about the thing being purchased. They're about an audience, the car in the driveway, the shoes on your feet, the neighborhood you live in. So much of what people spend is a quiet performance for people who honestly aren't paying that much attention. An economist named Thorstein Veblen named this over a century ago. He called it conspicuous consumption, buying to be seen, buying for status. And here's what the data shows us about that behavior. It never satisfies. You buy something. You feel good for a few weeks. Then you go back to baseline. Then you need the next thing. The cycle never stops. And the bill, accumulated over a lifetime, is enormous. The wealthiest people I've studied quietly made a different choice. They stopped keeping score based on what other people thought of them. They started keeping score based on what they knew to be true about their own financial progress. Nobody could see their index fund balance. Nobody could see their equity building. They didn't need anyone to see it. The moment you stop performing wealth and start building it, that's when everything begins to shift. The fifth principle is your network. You've probably heard the phrase, your network is your net worth. It sounds like something on a motivational poster. But strip away the slogan and look at the actual research. Sociologists have documented something called peer convergence. Over time, people tend to financially align with the 5 or 6 people they spend the most voluntary time with. Not because of peer pressure, just because of exposure. Their spending feels normal to you. Their ambitions start to feel like the ceiling. Their sense of what's possible quietly becomes yours. If everyone around you is stuck, you will feel stuck is normal. If even 1 or 2 people in your orbit have built something real, own a rental property, run a small business, invested consistently for 20 years, their reality starts to become your reference point. This doesn't mean abandoning the people you love. It means being intentional about who else you're learning from. Find one person who is 10 years ahead of where you want to be. Buy them coffee. Ask real questions. Listen more than you talk. The sixth and final principle is self-education. The school system ends. The diploma arrives. The stage crossing happens. And then, almost nothing asks you to keep growing again. Your job rewards execution, not learning. Your routine rewards comfort, not challenge. The wealthy never accepted that ending. They replaced the imposed curriculum of school with a self-directed one. They read, not for entertainment, for information they don't yet have. Studies consistently show that high net worth individuals read between 30 and 50 books a year. The average American adult reads fewer than 4. That gap in knowledge is a gap in outcome. Starting tonight, Even 20 pages a day of something genuinely challenging adds up to around 15 serious books a year. Over 40 years, that's 600 books, 600 deep investments in your own understanding of money, of people, of how the world actually works. The school told you learning had a finish line. The people who built real wealth know it never does. Here's where everything lands. 6 principles: ownership, leverage, long-term thinking, the inner compass, your network, and relentless self-education. None of them were on your report card. All of them determine your financial future. If you take one thing from this video, let it be this: the rules most people follow were written by people who needed workers, not wealth builders. The moment you start learning different rules, your trajectory changes. If you want to keep learning how money actually works, subscribe to Money IQ Pro. Simple, honest videos about building wealth, understanding finance, and making smarter decisions with your money. The curriculum is still open. The chair is still there. The only question is whether you sit down.